What is up, my friends? How are we? It is Tuesday night. It is the Late Night Agenda, and as always, you are very welcome along. Tonight, we are, of course, going to be speaking about the Mohamed Salah situation. We're going to be asking, what are Liverpool's chances to win the Premier League title this season? And it's not going to be my opinion or your opinion. We're going to be speaking about the Opta supercomputer's opinion. We're also going to be giving you a little few updates around the David Coote situation, and I'm going to be going in on the media quite a bit. So yeah, there's going to be a bit of a rant tonight. I'm going to warn you about that one in advance. So let me know your thoughts on all of these topics, of course, and anything else that you would like to discuss. We've also got a stat around the highest rated players in Europe's top 5 leagues at the moment. We're going to be speaking about some praise that Mohamed Salah is getting from a former Arsenal player. That and lots more to come. Right, what else have we got? Hello, my sweaty little friend. How are you, Dave? Yeah, I'm making sure it's extra sweaty, Dave, for Friday for you, for when you kiss the bald head. It's going to be extra sweaty. Craig, do you think youngster Rio will get a chance in the first team this season? I don't. No, I don't. Because I don't think he's ready yet to make that step up. I get how excited we all are about Rio Nyamoha. Excuse my pronunciation, by the way, of his surname. I know I'm getting it wrong. But I do think, we don't want to rush the kid through too early. Let's make sure that he, settles in and gets to where he needs to be. And then maybe pre-season, I think Arne Slot will have a little look at him wherever we may end up. So, look, it's exciting. I get it. And I know that Liverpool fans are, waiting to see young Rio take to the pitch. And I'm sure he won't disappoint when he does. So, where do we want me to kick off tonight, by the way, as we wait for people to come in? Because I know if I go straight into the main topic now, in 10 minutes, 15 minutes, when everybody gets their notifications and starts to filter in, we're going to end up having to just repeat ourselves. So how about we have a conversation around Alexander Isak for a few minutes? Because Graham Bailey posted earlier on to say Alexander Isak's camp are left shocked by Newcastle's stance over the contract. Expectation will be that Alexander Isak leaves Newcastle in 2025, especially if they don't qualify for a Champions League place. Thoughts on this one? Immediately my mind's going to Arsenal, because Arsenal were linked with Isak before he went to Newcastle, and we know Arsenal are certainly in search of somebody for the central striking position. Be crazy this one though for me if they let Isak leave Newcastle. There are some talks about who Newcastle are looking at as a replacement for Isak as well. We'll talk about that a little bit later on. Mark said Kwanzaa's being called up for the English national team, the main team. That's brilliant. Well done to him. So Mary said Lee Gunner saying it's an overreaction to Q. I mean, look, Mary, Lee is entitled to his opinion on anything, but I can't speak for somebody else. I'm going to just give you my take on the situation. Lee or anybody else, of course, are entitled to theirs. And when I speak together with Lee on Tuesday for the first episode of the Red Mist podcast, which, by the way, you guys can subscribe to right now. If you search the Red Mist podcast, you will see the new logo. So do go and check that one out if you get a chance. But yeah, I can't speak for other people, mate, And one thing about me and Lee is we won't always agree. And that's kind of part of the idea of the whole show, is that, look, we don't have to agree on everything. We can be friends and see things in a different way. But it's about giving, I guess, a different idea and a different way of showing that you can have these competing ideas or values and we can still work together. And that's, I guess, what the show is going to be all about. Right, looking forward to this next Mike Up episode. Well, there was one on today, coincidentally, and look, I'll read you out a little bit of what was said in this mic'd up episode from Howard Webb around the situation. Now, of course, there isn't much he can say, and I understand that. I'm not going to be on here expecting Howard Webb to be giving us a definitive answer on mic'd up, but he did say one of our referees, David Coote, has been suspended with immediate effect pending the outcome of that investigation. And there's not much more I can say at this stage until we work through the investigation. And look, that's absolutely fine. Everybody deserves due process. Everybody deserves to go through the correct procedures. He is employed by the PGMOL and the FA. So yes, these things need to be done and done properly. So we need to be patient in that regard. But that being said, my friends, and I don't want to go into this rant just yet, but I'm already seeing a very clear narrative in the media, and I will talk about it in a while, but I just want to make sure that we get everybody in before I get into it, because I do have a lot I want to get off my chest around the situation, particularly around everybody going in one direction about it. But I don't want to give too much away. How much are the refs paid? Again, the numbers are out there. I just can't remember them off the top of my head. There was a few articles in recent years that suggested the Premier League referees are getting paid less than some of their counterparts in the likes of, I think, Spain and Germany. But the numbers are out there. I just don't know them, mate, off the top of my head. Right, Stevie Boy, thank you, sir, for a first super chat of the day. Said, David Coote has asked to do the Liverpool-Man City game before the video dropped. We all know Man City record when Coote does their game, said Stevie Boy. Again, right now, we just have to be patient to see what the investigation shows up. And we don't want to second guess the investigation or anything like that either. You know, they are entitled to due process, as everybody else under any work type of investigation or anything else. And I don't want this thing rushed along. I absolutely respect and understand that there are procedures that need to be followed here. No problem with that. I do have a lot of other problems, though, that I'm going to go through tonight. 19,000 people, said David Coughlin, until the big 300k, and to think you got 250 only back in March. I know, I'm getting excited. I'm looking at the numbers and I'm thinking, wow, only 19,000 to go until we hit, as you mentioned, David, that magic 300k. I'm really excited about it. I've set myself a little target to try and get there before the end of the January transfer window. So, you know, I am going to be somewhat reliant on Liverpool's form and, of course, you know, what happens between now and then. But again, I just want to say thank you to everybody for their incredible support here on the channel. So, one thing I will say about the situation with Coote is that Anfield Edition posted this crediting Telefootball. They say Ben Kitt, the individual who was filmed alongside David Coote in the viral video, has been suspended from his job while his employer carries out investigations. Interesting. So, you know, it's not just David Coote, I guess, that is feeling the force of this situation. The other gentleman in the video, Ben Kitt, is also being looked at. And look, he did say, we hate Scousers. So he was talking not just from David Coote's perspective in that one segment. So let's wait and see how that one pans out. So look, I want to read you out a couple of things, and then I'm going to speak about why I'm angry. And I hope you understand where I'm coming from. And anybody that has kids with them that doesn't like swearing or anything, I think this situation's probably going to involve me swearing a little bit. So, I was interested last night to sit back and watch Sky back pages and see how the narrative was going to be put out there about the situation with David Coote. And then I read some articles today as well, and it seems as if very clearly there is already a narrative at play, and I'm going to let you guys see if you can figure out what that is. So, Martin Samuel of The Times, who, by the way, I would class as a very sympathetic Manchester City leaning person, said he believes David Coote is done as a Premier League referee, but suggested the official was effectively right in his potty-mouthed assessment of Klopp. Coote can be banished in a finger snap. Harder is admitting that he had a point, that all referees given enough liquid truth serum and the mistaken belief that what they are saying is strictly confidential would come to a similar conclusion. Not about Klopp or his nationality necessarily, but about someone. A manager, a group of players, the assistants on the bench, even an entire club. How does any rational person think referees feel about their standing in the modern game? Coote's recollection of 90 minutes in the company of Klopp and his backroom staff will not be an outlier. As brilliant as he was, we could all see that Jurgen Klopp did what Jurgen Klopp did and how he behaved. Those fans seated directly behind the Anfield dugout could no doubt hear it too, yet we all ignore it. If Liverpool supporters were outraged by Coote's observations while offering new thoughts on cause and effect, yet replace the words Jurgen Klopp with Jose Mourinho in that outburst, and many would no doubt be arguing that the Portuguese places officials under intolerable pressure and was a human reaction. So that's one journalist here Martin Samuel of the Times. Now we'll move on to Ian Ladyman of the Daily Mail. And this is what Mr. Ladyman had to say. Match officials from the Premier League down to the blokes with tea towels for flags on the Sunday mud flats will feel the ramifications. Referees and their assistants will always make mistakes. They all whistle when they shouldn't and fail to spot things that they probably should. But deep down we forgive them for their human frailties, their misjudgments, their occasional failures to spot what appears obvious. We do that because we presume they are honest. We know they are regularly being conned by the players in charge, and we presume they're doing their very best to get the difficult calls right. In short, we expect our referees to whistle without prejudice. We presume all games begin with a blank canvas, without a vested interest, and ideally with an absolute and utter ambivalence to the outcome. So follow this on to some conversations that I'm seeing on Sky. And you see Dermot Gallagher on there and Mike Dean on there. And one thing that keeps coming up in these conversations on Sky is the microscope that referees are put under, and how perhaps it's a little bit unfair that these officials are put under this microscope and this intolerable pressure. My problem with this is you and me and every other football fan that observes the game didn't ask Sky to give us mic'd up. We didn't ask Sky to give us Ref Watch with Dermot Gallagher. We did not ask Sky to put Mike Dean on Gillette Soccer Saturday and a lot of other shows. They did that. So if we want to start accusing football fans of going in on referees, let's start about the real pragmatists here. Sky, who rammed refereeing content down our throats because it was another way for them to make money from the game. So we are seeing fans once again being spoken about in derogatory terms by these arrogant pricks, and I'm absolutely fed up of it. Once again, they're now saying that this will give rise to the tinfoil hat wearing conspiracy theorists to doubt every decision a referee makes. Why are we victim blaming again? Why are we in this situation where football fans are being spoken down to? And why can't we have an adult conversation that this proves that yes, some referees do have something against clubs. And nobody doubts that referees have a hard job. But we, the footballing public, didn't want VAR brought in. You pitched it to us as a solution to a problem that was going to end debate around pubs with your mates, that was going to make referees' jobs easier, and that was going to make the game better. Only it hasn't. All it's done is increase the anger towards referees. But what do Sky, TNT and everybody else do? Milk money off it and then give out when the rest of us react to the content that they put out, and then ask the rest of us to behave towards referees and show them respect. I'm absolutely sick of it. I knew that they were going to pull up the barriers and shutters. I knew that somehow UI and everybody else was going to be blamed for this. We didn't put that camera in front of David Coote. We didn't make David Coote say what he said. Him and his ill judgment and his own fucking stupidity are the reason that David Coote is in the situation he's in now. So rather than once again point the finger of blame to the footballing public who are sick to death of these demagogues being put in front of us as if their shit doesn't stink and they're perfect and we want sympathy for them, fuck you Sky, fuck you TNT and everybody else that thinks they get to talk down to us, the footballing public. All that we want is referees to go out there and do their best and have a proper adult conversation around the idea that possibly, just possibly, these people do have some agendas. Is that too far-fetched to discuss? Because again, it wasn't Liverpool fans that made this video. It wasn't me that made this video. It was a referee that was, at the very least, out for a couple of sherbets and possibly more. So rather than once again trying to vilify us and look down your goddamn noses at us, look a little bit closer to home. Because Sky are the reason that referees are being looked down upon a lot more. Sky are the reason that referees are being vilified a lot more. Because you can't make the fucking money quick enough. I'm going to say it for the whole of the footballing world. We don't want refereeing content. We don't want to even know these people's names. They should go about their business. Yes, they should be respected on the pitch. But stop trying to create a problem and blame everybody else for it. Because it becomes tiring. Have we not learned anything about the way politics has gone in the world recently. People are fed up of being preached to. People are being fed up of being told that we're the problem. People are being fed up of having elites looking down their nose at the rest of us. The honest people who make the game what it is. So if we have to have a conversation around the problem with referees, let's do so from a place of equality. Let's do so from a place where we're all on the same level and you don't speak down to the rest of us, because it's galling. Somebody has to speak up for it, and I'm going to start the process because it's ridiculous. I've been as balanced and as fair as I can about David Coote. Yes, he deserves to go through the proper procedures. Yes, he deserves to have everything that his side of it needs to be put across. No doubt about that whatsoever. But once again, when it comes time, they're starting to vilify us. Tinfoil hat merchants, conspiracy theorists. Again, we didn't make this damn video. Coote did. So if anybody wants to look for a pointing a finger of blame David Coote, blame the arsehole that leaked the video, and perhaps Sky and TNT and everybody else, take a look at the content that you're making. Because you won't see referee conversations on fan channels. We don't bring them on. You don't see them on podcasts. I don't see podcasts bringing referees on. The only people who are making money of vilifying referees and of putting them under the microscope are Sky and the broadcasters. So stop looking down your noses at the rest of us, you elite arseholes. It didn't take a day before it was off. And they're still saying this alleged video, or this still to be confirmed video. Coote's already said he was in the fucking video. What are Sky waiting for? We can't confirm this video. He's already confirmed it. One of the journalists you had on last night already said, he said to his reporter, yeah, it's me in the video, but I don't remember saying it, but it was me. Remember, this is the same guy who over the course of an hour went from, that's AI and not me, to, yeah, it is me, to, yeah, it's me, but I don't remember it. Why might you not remember it then? Why? Let's have a little talk. If you want to be grown-ups about it, let's talk about what else might have been going on in that video. Absolute arseholes. I'm sick of it. Absolutely sick of it. Again, I ask, who asked for referee content? Because none of us want it, none of us like it, and here's why. It's pointless. Because all they do is back up their mates. All they do when you bring on Howard Webb to mic'd up is lob them softball questions. How about getting some football fans to ask the referee some questions? How about answering the actual things and not just going on mic'd up and going, well, weren't they great here, these referees? Pat on the back for everybody. I don't see any problem with that referee did. Because that's all it is. It's just a slap on the arse for all your mates and a well done everybody. Well, we're making this transparent, aren't we? No, you're not. You're just once again treating the rest of us like we're idiots. And think you're better than us. You're not. So, rant over. And again, apologies if it comes across as aggravated or angry, but I am. I'm extremely angry. Because yet again, the job's for the boys, pulling the ladder up behind them, and victim blaming. Imagine trying to make out like, that's okay. What Coote said is okay, and maybe there is something about Klopp. Yeah, maybe there was. Maybe Klopp did roll refs up the wrong way. Maybe Arteta does it. Maybe Pep does it. But do you not think the reverse applies as well? Because every time a manager says anything towards a referee, fine or a touchline ban. So they already get held to account. Players get held to account. The only people in this whole scenario that never really get held to account are the referees. And if you want proof of that, well, there's already a potential exit there. Mike Keegan, I believe of the Mirror or the Mail, said, Saudi Arabia could offer an escape route for David Coote should the under-fire referee end up with the sack. So once again we're seeing that if he's proven to have done these things, that rather than be vilified in an industry, it's a handy little cushy number over in Saudi Arabia or elsewhere for David Coote. Let's not shun him. No. Let's talk about how hard he worked to get to where he got to. Let's talk about the fact that he has to be looked at and marked up by refereeing assessors all the time. Or we could talk about the very, very convenient things that happened when Coote was on VAR. These very convenient things that, along with his very clear wording of not liking Klopp and not liking Scousers, how about then we come to an adult conclusion that perhaps he doesn't like us very much. Perhaps he's not really a fan of Liverpool very much. Could that be too difficult to comprehend, you arrogant elitist arseholes? So, I have a few super chats I need to catch up on. Stargirl, apologies for delaying this so long, but I need to get that off my chest. We're the only ones who've said the ref was xenophobic. I'm studying a piece to be a maths teacher. If I did a similar video, I would be gone. Exactly. Exactly. I've seen people cancelled for less. But, like I've said, Stargirl, I've no problem with due process. I've no problem with David Coote going through every procedure that the PGMOL or the Premier League have in place, because we want these things to be done correctly. So, I've no problem with waiting. But I do have a problem with the narrative once again being wrestled towards the easy, low-hanging fruit, which is, oh, this is just going to set free the conspiracy theorists now. Now everybody will feel justified to say that the ref's done this or the ref's done that. Once again, looking down your noses at the rest of us, rather than look at the problem and address the obvious problem that, yes, there are some referees that don't like particular clubs. And yes, they may carry those resentments or dislike onto the pitch. And whether consciously or subconsciously, just perhaps they have shafted a few teams. Is that too difficult to comprehend? Because I tell you what, rewatch that Odegaard handball and tell me with a straight face why David Coote didn't tell Michael Oliver to go to the board. Because there's no reason he shouldn't have. It's a disgusting dereliction of duty. Same when Origi got fouled against United. Nothing done. And as I said, I'm not saying this is a Liverpool only problem. Any other fans watching this will have suffered the same thing with potentially a different referee. But this again, vilifying football fans by saying it's only going to feed the conspiracy theories. Here's a little thing for you. They're not conspiracy theories when they're proven, assholes. They're conspiracy theories until they're proven. But when you get evidence like this dropping, it's very hard to argue back that Coote might not have something against Liverpool. Would you not agree? Rachel, my friend, how are you? I agree with you. Thank you, Rachel. I appreciate that. Are you agreeing with me from the indoor swimming pool? No, Rachel. That's what I need to know, you know. I'm very jealous. I can't let that go, Rachel, that indoor swimming pool. How do you get refs without a bias when they're born here? My suggestion, for what it's worth, would be to have this, and I've said this for a few years, to be fair, mate, a rotating group of high-level officials that are going around the top 5 leagues, say, refereeing in different environments, in different leagues. And I think that would work better for a couple of reasons. One, it would give a consistency of refereeing levels and tolerances. Because how often do we talk about the difference, let's say, of a handball? The Arsenal-Inter Milan handball is a good example. There's no way that handball is given in the Premier League because the rules say it's not a handball. But in Europe, the refereeing thresholds are different. So I think we need to get to a conversation around the rules of the game as well as in all of this, because there seems to be different handball rules. There's certainly different handball rules for different parts of the pitch. A defender gets far more leeway than an attacker with a handball. There's things that need to be fixed in the game, and I think personally centralising referees in Europe and having them rotate around the top leagues is a potential idea. Stargirl said, also he keeps lying about the events. How can you ever trust what he says in the future, as he's a known liar? Exactly. Like, if a video like that of me appeared, and I knew it was me in the video, the first thing I would do is fess up. You would try to mitigate it as a human being for your own interest, but you would put your hands up and go, that was me, I was stupid, I was on a night out, I shouldn't have done it, I said it in the heat of the moment, I regretted it immediately, and of course I'm in the wrong. How hard is that to do? That's all any human being expects here. Someone to look down a camera and say, yeah, I did it and I was wrong. Not to try and find ways around it or lie and say it was AI or many other things that we've seen thrown out there really quickly from people, because we're not stupid. AI is not that advanced that video could be done. There's too much shadowing, the eye movements, there's too many things that let you know very quickly it isn't AI. But again, I understand that the Premier League have to go through and have their technical experts look at it. I totally understand and respect all that side of it. But I'm getting fed up of football fans once again all being just spoken about like we're a crowd of idiots with tinfoil hats on that just want conspiracy theories. Again, it's just not true. Well, in your system, the refs fly in for games from their home base. Yeah, exactly, Brandon. Yes, like UEFA referees, mate, every week. So, you know, and maybe they do a month in a league. I don't know. Maybe they move, could do a month here and a month there. There's enough money in the game that we can figure this out. They keep talking about transparency and how Howard Webb has made it far more transparent. And look, I do think there are certain things that Howard Webb is trying to do that I have sympathy for his predicament in. But when you do these shows like a Mic'd Up or a Ref Watch, it only comes across to the viewing public as these guys covering each other's backs. That's all. It doesn't come across like they're being really judged fairly for the instances that we see in front of us. Nobody wants the content except the broadcasters. So if you want to point the finger of blame towards the culture of scrutinising and overlooking the referees' jobs, look closer to home. Kevin said, is it a coincidence all this happens now Klopp's gone and we're doing so well? It's a huge distraction and can be easily brushed away now Klopp is gone. I don't know. Look, I as a human being understand that Klopp could rub refs up the wrong way. Of course I get that. Same way I think Arteta does it and most managers. So all managers do it. All managers get worked up and I'm sure all managers have crosswords with referees. I have no problem with any of that. But you don't see videos of Jurgen Klopp coming out calling David Coote an English you know what. You don't see videos of Pep Guardiola coming out calling, I don't know, pick another referee, Anthony Taylor, an English you know what. No, you don't see that because they've got better judgment. They wouldn't put themselves in the positions where these videos could be done because they are professionals. England Euro 2020 video game said a true man admits when he's wrong and cowards will blame others. Exactly. Put your hands up, take it on the chin. Because you know what we didn't get credit for as Liverpool fans? Was the way that we roundly came together and nobody wanted Konstantin Hadzidakis sacked. Remember the guy who threw the arm out like that to Robertson? Not one person that I'd seen, not one podcast that I'd seen, not one channel that I'd seen wanted him sacked. Because people understood he made an error of judgment in the heat of the moment and shit happens. But there's only so much stuff that you can let go before you have to start asking, is this legit? Now, Sam Maguire, who some of you guys may know if you're on social media, Sam posted something that I find very interesting here. So I'm going to read this out to you. Sam said, Liverpool's win rate in games that David Coote officiated or was in charge of VAR is 55%. One of the best Premier League teams in history, winning just over half their games. In 3 of the drawn games, a subjective David Coote decision impacted the outcome. A bit of context, said Sam. United have a win rate of 67% when David Coote is involved during a period where United have been awful. So again, rather than these arrogant twats telling the rest of us that we have tinfoil hats on, look at the numbers. Paul Tompkins has done some good work around the Paul Tierney stuff. The numbers don't lie. And as Sam has said there, Liverpool having a win rate of just 55% when Coote has been involved versus United having a 65% win rate when we've been by far a better team over that time is surely an indication that maybe something here needs to be talked about. So, if you really want transparency and honesty and you really want to remove all this crap from the game, then we need to have these conversations open because football has a real transparency problem. Right now, we're seeing the Manchester City case played out behind closed doors, even though it affects all of us, the footballing family, and we're all in the dark about it. And we'll just be told what happened then. This happened, deal with it. It's pathetic at this point. Massive reach, to be honest. Again, it's numbers. It's not a reach. It's backed up with stats. It's numbers. So if you think it's a reach, prove me wrong. Rather than being a fucking smart arse, let's get on with it. Prove me wrong or shut the fuck up. Unlike you, I've done my research. I've seen the numbers. I've read many articles from Paul Tompkins where the numbers categorically show that Paul Tierney has impacted Liverpool. It isn't even up for debate. And this is a statistician, by the way. This isn't me putting these numbers together. These are people that understand the numbers. You just clearly have either a bee in your bonnet about me or you just don't want to have a balanced conversation about it. But it isn't a reach. It's an opinion formed from information. Now, onto something a bit more light-hearted for a minute, my friends. The old Opta supercomputer has been on the go. And I think you're going to like what the Opta supercomputer had to say. So, the chances percentage-wise of winning the Premier League, well, they're interesting. So the supercomputer reckons that right now Liverpool have a 58.3% chance of winning the Premier League this season. Manchester City have a 38% chance of winning the Premier League this season. Arsenal, Gary Neville's favourites, and the ones that we're told are still in the title race, absolutely positively, no matter what the numbers or history says, has a 3.5% chance. But you know what did make me very interested in this? Chelsea, who are right now, if I'm not mistaken, above Arsenal in goal difference, Chelsea only have a 0.2% chance to win the Premier League versus Arsenal's 3.5%. I found that quite interesting. Now, obviously, there are reasons. You know, the Opta supercomputer will certainly have put together a lot more metrics than my little brain. But I did find that one interesting, that even though Arsenal are behind Chelsea on goal difference, they're a lot more likely to win the league. So, again, Liverpool 58%, Manchester City 38%, Arsenal 3.5%, and Chelsea 0.2%. Anybody outside of those has a 0% chance to win the Premier League. There was another interesting stat earlier on, and I wanted to just bring to your attention as well, around the points deficit. So, Sky Sports have put up a graphic to show that no team has recovered from a 9-point deficit to win the title before. Now, before everybody jumps on here and says Man City, they had games in hand. So when everybody had played the same amount of games, no team has recovered from a 9-point deficit to win the Premier League title before. So that, coupled with the 3.5% chance the Opta supercomputer has given, and I think anybody who feels Arsenal are outsiders at this rate is justified. I know that everybody so wants Arsenal to be in the title race, and I know that they're a good team, and I'll give them their credit. But right now, the numbers aren't indicating that they have much of a chance to go on this year, despite what many people want to happen. Statistically, numerically, the odds are very much against an Arsenal title charge this season. Unfortunately, the optic computer's like a fair weather friend. Oh, look, mate, I've no doubt this changes quickly, and I'm not trying to say that's an indication Liverpool are going to win the league. Not at all. I absolutely agree with you. These things fluctuate massively. One loss for us, another win or two for let's say, City. Those numbers change dramatically. 100% agree with you on that one. I'm just, I was more using it to show how unlikely it was for Arsenal, rather than as a point to show that Liverpool are going to go on and do it or anything. I totally agree with you on that. Ayan said, Craig, David Coote saying in the end that the video cannot go anywhere just shows how much of an idiot this guy is. Exactly. Why wouldn't you just say, why are you recording this? Or delete that video? Because what's the best scenario for that video being recorded for David Coote in that situation? I don't understand what the upside is. But I know what the potential downside is. And it's what's happening to him right now. So, again, you want to talk about judgment calls? Well, he didn't really make a great judgment call there, did he? So, I see a couple of people are asking about Salah. No problem, folks. I got you covered. And thank you for your patience as well, by the way. I do appreciate you bearing with me while I went through that situation. But there's a report from Florian Plettenberg, which, again, I would say take somewhat with a pinch of salt. But I wanted it to serve as a jumping off point for a conversation. So Florian Plettenberg said, Liverpool and Mohamed Salah's management are still in talks about a potential new contract beyond 2025. However, no agreement has been reached yet, as both parties remain far apart. Salah has other top options in both Saudi Arabia and Europe. Now, there's a line there that worries me, and it's the line that said that they're far apart, because far apart could mean anything. But I hope it isn't a financial thing, because surely Liverpool aren't going to be looking to knock down Salah's money at this point. You know, if this was around length of contract or something like that, I think we could understand maybe a sticking point there. But I certainly hope that he's very wrong, because to me, and I'm not inside this negotiation and I don't know what's going on, it feels like Mo has put his cards on the table and said he wants to stay. He's doing everything that he can on the pitch to show that any perceived drop-off, at least in the near future, is unlikely. His fitness levels look top-notch. So, I hope he's wrong. And I do hope that we get a breakthrough, one way or the other, hopefully for a positive update, over this international break. Because Trent and Mo aren't going to be going away with their national teams. Trent because of an injury, Mo because he was given a chance to have a rest by the national team coach. So I do hope that over this break we find out what happens with these boys, because we know what we all want, but ultimately it's down to the club and Mo and his representatives and Virgil and Trent at this point. There was a report coming out of Spain that I'm going to just call bullshit on, to be honest with you folks. It said Trent Alexander-Arnold will not sign a contract extension at Liverpool. And I'm just not believing anything that comes out of Spain around the Trent situation. Because, again, it's trying to form a narrative. And it's trying to do the bidding of Madrid. And I think Trent should be very happy that the English side of this have been very quiet and respectful and allowed Trent to do what he's wanted to do, which is not play it out in public. Of course, we as fans want to know what's happening, but Trent wants it done privately and respectfully. Absolutely sound. But the Spanish media are doing what they always do, which is trying to pile on and make it like it's a formality that Trent goes to play for Real Madrid. So it just makes us as fans a bit more nervous, So I just want to call out some of these nonsensical reports when I see them, because we don't know what's happening with Trent yet. We've spoken about some of the murmurings from inside the city where, yep, there are some people that are feeling that maybe Trent's going to want a new challenge. But until we know, there's no point in wishing the kid away or admitting defeat either, by the way. I would say that as Liverpool fans, we should be very vocal about making sure Trent knows what we want as fans, and that's for him to stay. People say it's difficult to renew contracts for players over 30. Well, they don't say it's difficult, Hussein. They just say it's difficult for clubs because they look at, the likes of Alexis Sanchez, and Mesut Ozil, and Aubameyang, and others in the past who've gotten these contracts and not been the same player since. But I would put Mohamed Salah into the Ronaldo kind of camp of an outlier. A physical specimen who lives the life of a pro athlete on and off the pitch and never looks out of shape. So, again, like we've done with Mo, where we broke the wage structure to give Mo the highest ever deal the football club has done, I would suggest this is a similar thing again. Whereas we can't treat him like a normal 31, 32-year-old, because he isn't. He's a superhuman. And I do believe that there's more years to go. And actually on Mo, he's been getting loads of praise recently, and it's great to see. But I wanted to just highlight one bit of praise in particular from a former Arsenal legend that I thought was very nice and very fitting. So Robert Pires, obviously former Arsenal great, said Salah was treated unfairly by being left out of the Ballon d'Or list. He goes on to say it's a loss for the list, not for Salah. This isn't the player's fault, it's the journalist's mistake. Many great players like Thierry Henry, Xavi and Andres Iniesta never won the award either. Salah's absence from the Ballon d'Or final shortlist shows that some people don't know much about football. Fair play. And then we had Frank Lampard recently as well, talking about, the greatness of Mohamed Salah. So, it really does feel like there can only be one outcome here. Really, there can. The man has unfinished business at the club. He's got goal scoring charts to continue to climb. He's got trophies to help us deliver. So, at this point, I think most Liverpool fans that I've spoken to want all three done. But there's one we're unsure of what they want on, and that is Trent at the minute, because quite simply, we don't know what Trent wants. Rip Van Winkle said, I want him to sign an extension, but last time we were in this position, he was playing brilliantly too and dropped off. Did he really drop off though? Like, if we look back over his numbers, it's fair to say that more often than not, over the course of a season, he's delivered the numbers. Now, look, I'm not going to call you out, mate. I felt there were times where his outputs dropped off a bit as well. But that was more my concern about him never really being fully fit. So there were times where I felt like he was rushed back for a World Cup or an AFCON or from an injury too early. This feels a little bit different. He had a good rest in the summer. He's getting another rest now. And I think that if Liverpool look at this cleverly and give Mo the rest when he can and when he needs it, we can manage the situation a little bit better. So I get where you're coming from. But overall, I think his body of work speaks for itself. But look, you're not on your own. I was somebody as well who thought at times that his performance, we weren't seeing the same Salah. But, isn't the important part that when we see that Salah, when he shows that we're wrong, that we acknowledge it and put our hands up. What else have we got? Sorry, I was just making sure I hadn't missed something. Salah is worth a lot to FSG. Shirt sales, exposure in the Middle East and Africa, massive audience, and the potential to deliver trophies, which of course will help increase the value of the club as well. He's a superstar, and he's a superstar that wants to be here, and I think that would that should go a long way as well. Can you please report on Lineker getting let go by match of the day? To the best of my understanding, he wasn't let go. I think he chose. Now, I'm open to being corrected, but my understanding of the situation was that he's staying on for the World Cup and he's staying on for some other coverage, but that he isn't going to front match of the day anymore. I think it was his choice, but look, I may be wrong on that. I guess the interesting question is, who should take the job? Mark Chapman, I think, would be fine if Mark Chapman steps in to do it. Laura Wood, Gabby Logan, Frank Skinner. They'd be some of my suggestions to mix it up a little bit. Sorry, I'm just going back through some comments here. Where are we? Alex Scott. Yeah, Alex Scott's not bad either. I don't know if Alex Scott could be a host as such. I don't know if I'd see Alex Scott as a host, but like Laura Woods, Gabby Logan. I love Frank Skinner. Just kind of get back to the old fantasy football days. Do you remember those days? What a great show that was back in the day. Curtis said Gary Lineker, BBC got rid because of his political views. Well, he's still working for the BBC. He signed an 18-month extension, I think, to stay on for the World Cup and some other bits and bobs, I think. But look, it's going to be a big shoes to fill, you know. Gary Neville's been, overall, I think, a very, very good host for Match of the Day. I think over the course of my lifetime anyway, I think Match of the Day have always had good presenters. And I think they've always, more often than not, gone with the right people. I'm interested, though, to see if Mark Chapman does step up to the role. I think it's a role he could do. I enjoy watching him on Match of the Day, to be honest. Yeah, be an interesting one. I'm glad Jermaine Genius isn't getting it. I am. I can't stand watching Genius. I don't like him one bit. I don't think he's any charisma either. I'm glad he's not getting it. I can't lie. I am. Good evening, everyone. Hope you're okay. Craig, family looking fabulous, said Ryan. Thank you, Ryan. Appreciate you, mate. Liam Buchan said, I think this is the best and most complete version of Salah that I've seen. He's reinvented himself slightly. And, you know, the part that I've really enjoyed of this new iteration of Mohamed Salah is the assisting and the calibre of his understanding with his other forwards. Like, I've really enjoyed seeing Mo's assist numbers come up as well as, of course, his goals. And it just would feel like right now there would be an unnecessary uncertainty and bad vibes put into the fan base if he wasn't extended. I think everybody feels like this has to be done. He needs to be extended. What about Peter Crouch? Again, I don't see Crouchy as a host, to be honest with you. Really good. God, I'd watch that in the Crouchies on. Love him. But don't see him as a host. Eddie said, no disrespect, Craig. It's not about what the fans want. It's about what the player and the club want. Yes, that's fair. But he wants to stay. Now, what I would say, Eddie, is, like I said about Trent, where I said, I'm kind of running out of reasons as to why Trent might not want to stay. Like, what he's uncertain about. With Mohamed Salah, I'm going to flip that and say, I'm kind of running out of reasons for the club to not feel like it's a worthwhile 2-year extension. You know? No sign of a drop-off physically at the moment. Numerically, and the stats he's putting up, not seeing the drop-off there either. Looks to be really enjoying his football right now and where he's playing it. Playing with a smile on his face. Adored, of course, by the Liverpool fans. So, I understand the worry from the club's perspective. And when I speak with David Lynch about this, and he speaks about the amount of money Liverpool will commit to the next 2 or 3 years, I can appreciate all of that as well. But he just doesn't strike me as a player who will ever down tools, because he's driven by legacy. And he's going to want to achieve what he can still achieve, which is, you know, a 5th, 4th, 3rd, maybe even 2nd place on the Premier League all-time goal scoring charts, and certainly to continue breaking records at Liverpool. So I think that there is enough body of work there and enough appetite for Mo and hunger to still achieve that I don't ever see him falling off in a way that maybe Alexis Sanchez or others did, because they didn't really have the same legacy at the club. Net Spectre said, Mark Chapman has done Super Bowl coverage quite a few times, is always great, comes across really well and balanced. Yeah, I find Mark Chapman very good when I watch him as well. Always brings a smile to your face, and yeah, he's not up his own arse, you know, and I like anyone like that. So yeah, I'd have no issues if Mark Chapman gets the job. I think he's done a good enough apprenticeship for the role. So, David Brett Smith, thank you, sir, for your super chat, said, with Jota's injury record and Darwin's hit and miss goals, could you see Salah's next version be through the middle? So as fans, we've spoken about this a lot, and I would say yes, I could see Mo through the middle. I think others in the chat might say the same. Some may differ. But we've not really seen Liverpool look to it as an option. You know, recently we'd seen Lucho being the one that Arna put through the centre, whereas we could have seen Mo there and Lucho put out to the right. So, look, personally, mate, I'd have no issue with it, but I haven't seen any indication that it's something that Arne Slot or the club are looking to trial at the minute anyway. Tony Shallow said, the club should stop looking at Salah's age. Ronaldo and Messi are still playing at their age. Look, I think I don't think it's as simple as you or I or anyone just thinking about an age. I think obviously there's going to be a mountain of data and stuff that Richard Hughes and Michael Edwards and those who make the decisions will be weighing up here. And I also want to reiterate as well that very intelligent people that are making these decisions, very, very good in their roles, you know, we're just anxious at the minute. You know, it doesn't mean we won't get to the conclusion that works for everybody, but it does feel like we're getting to squeaky bum time a little bit, because that January window is creeping up on us bit by bit, and you know, the gloves are off come January time, because they can start negotiating openly and signing a pre-contract agreement with clubs outside of the Premier League from January onwards. So it feels like this, and look, maybe I've built this up in my own head, but to me as a fan, it feels like this transfer window, or excuse me, this international window, it's important right now, because we do have time with Trent and with Mo where they're not away, and it feels like we can really get down to the nitty gritty and get to an answer of what's going to happen. And maybe, look, I'm not saying that is what's going to happen. It just feels like a sensible time frame. Commenter, I don't know what to say to you, mate, about your friends slagging you off. Get better friends would be part one of what I'd say. Like, if you've got mates who are saying to you that you're jumping on a bandwagon because you're a Liverpool fan, even though your father's a Scouser, I mean, it says more about them, young man, than it does about you. Absolutely every reason to support whatever club you want, my friend, and the fact that your dad's a Scouser, it gives you even more of an incentive to be a Liverpool fan. So, you know, don't let anybody judge you about who you support, mate. It's your decision. You're very welcome in here. We're happy to have you in. But yeah, don't let anybody tell you who you should or shouldn't support or can or can't support, man. That's on you. You know, you're free to make your own mind up. Thank you, V. Aaron. Very kind super chat, bro. Appreciate you. So, V. Aaron said, I think I'm in the minority here, but I have zero respect for Arsenal. They stole LA, play Tony Pulis tactics, call for their manager to be sacked after every loss, and Arteta copied Klopp's fist bumps. So, it feels like you don't like their fan base, mate, more than the club, perhaps. And look, what I will say to you is, I've not been enamoured with a lot of Arsenal fans' behaviour over the past season or two. And certainly with regards to not looking inward at times, perhaps, about why they haven't won games or whatever, I feel you. I do. I get you. But my respect for Arsenal comes from the fact that at least they're doing things, or trying to do things, within the rules. And that's why it is a sport at the end of the day. And if any team plays by the rules and, gets the better of you, congratulate them. That's why I'm so strong in my belief that I won't sit here and give City any credit, because I still believe firmly that their legacy is built on lies. So look, I have respect for Arsenal the same way I have respect for Manchester United, in the same way I have respect for any other club that do things within the rules. I don't always agree with everybody else's fans, of course, and I'm sure that people think I'm an absolute asshole as well from the Arsenal fan base or whatnot, but I think in general there's been a lot of unrealistic expectations sometimes from football fans on their clubs. Nobody's going to win 38 games in a season. You're going to have to expect you're going to drop points, and they're going to be in games where you think you should have won or whatever. And I get it. Sometimes after a result, you're angry and you want to vent. But it feels like they are more reactionary, perhaps, than some other fan bases in their reactions to what's going on around their club. I don't understand the sense of, I don't want to say entitlement, because I don't think that's fair to Arsenal fans, expectation that the league title is going to show up, or that they should be the favourites. Ultimately, they've had 2 good seasons recently where they finished second to Manchester City. But I think the real conversation here should be around Arteta. Because if he can't deliver with everything that he's been backed with, the power that he's been given, the transfers that he's been given, I think Arsenal fans would be perfectly within their rights to ask, has he taken us as far as he can? That's not a question that I can answer. I'm not an Arsenal fan. But I can see why the likes of Lee or anybody else would start to question if Arsenal have the mentality, or the manager has, to get them over the line. Because it's not easy. We've seen how difficult it was for us in 30 years to get over the line. So, yeah. And look, some of the comments that I've seen towards us Liverpool fans from Arsenal fans have been particularly snidey, particularly around the season where they wanted the league cancelled just because we were winning it. That made me lose a lot of respect for a certain group of Arsenal fans who really showed their pathetic, ridiculous mindset in that situation. It was petty and it was embarrassing. Can't stand Simon Jordan. He's an anti-LFC. I'll tell you what Simon Jordan is. I'll tell you very clearly what he is. He's a contrarian. End of. Whatever the main narrative is, he's going to go against it. Because it's going to drive clicks, it's going to drive anger, and it's going to make TalkSport's phones ring. And that's why he's employed. Because a lot of what he says is absolute pony of the highest order, and it's insulting to people's intelligence. But he thinks by shouting over people and by being domineering and by speaking with his posh accent that he has some God-given right to tell the rest of us how everything should be. This is a man that said someone's going to cancel boxing. Now let that sit for a second. Who exactly is going to do that? Who's going to come in and cancel all of boxing over a bit of judging or something? The man comes out with some absolute whoppers. And I absolutely detest TalkSport, Simon Jordan, and any of that lowest common denominator bullshit that is out there that isn't genuine, that isn't sincere, that is just contrarian opinions for the sake of driving clicks, anger, frustration. It winds me up because, again, it's treating people like idiots. It's just like lobbing a grenade into a room and stepping back and watching as it blows up. He knows what he's doing. It's not an accident. And they know what they're doing employing him. He's there for that reason and that reason only. He's a contrarian. Hoarder, how are you, sir? And thank you very much for your super chat. He called Liverpool fans sensitive today. Yes, the man who ran to his solicitors to start threatening to take legal action against people has the cheek to call us sensitive. Gotcha. Fair enough. Better be careful what I say, though, because, between him and Goldbridge, I don't want to be getting more legal letters, we know they have form for that, the presenters over there, so we better be careful here. There's only so much in the legal fund. Hoarder said, I think LFC and Salah are negotiating in private. I hope so. Oh, God, mate. Look, I would imagine there's certainly been some conversations, yes. The thing I think that freaks me out a little bit is that we haven't had any breakthrough on any of them. Like on the 3 deals, there's been no breakthrough. So this just came out of Spain as well from Mundo Deportivo. And it said, Barcelona want to sign a star player and these are the options. Nico Williams, Rafa Leao, Kvicha Kvaratskhelia, Mohamed Salah and Leroy Sané. I mean, I can understand most of the names of that list, to be fair. Nico Williams, we know Barcelona wanted to sign, but just couldn't quite get that deal done. Rafa Leao, I don't know if they'd have the money to be able to pay what it would take to get him out of Milan. Kvicha Kvaratskhelia, I'm not really sure what his situation is at Napoli under Antonio Conte. Salah, look, we all hope that, Salah stays. And Sané, I think that's a crazy name to have on that list personally. Sorry, there was something I was trying to get back on. Just, where was it? There was a comment here we wanted to get back to, and I'm just trying to find it. Sorry. Can't find it. Sorry, can't find it. Oh, no, it's that one. Kelly's Courtois. Evening, young Craig. God, it's been a while. It's been a while since I've been called young, but I'll take it. I'll take it, Kelly. Thank you. Evening, young Craig. Due to my cancer diagnosis, I cannot get to see my adored Liverpool. Watching Anfield Agenda is the next best thing. Keep up the whoop-whoops. Well, firstly, Kelly, I hope that you've got a good prognosis on the health front. I think cancer is a disease that will impact all of our families and has done with ours. My father-in-law had cancer in multiple places and thankfully is still here with us. Yeah, look, it's always an honour and it's very humbling to see people speak about our community in a way like that. But most importantly, lots of love to you, and I really hope that you get back to see Liverpool in person soon. I hope your health allows you to do that, and thank you. Sonny Joyce said, do you think Amarin will affect the title race? I mean, United are only about 4 points off European Champions League spots, I think. 4 or 5 points maybe. So it is crazy how congested that whole group from 4th or 5th down to 13th, 14th is. So I think in some ways, yes, he will impact what's going on because he'll have to play the team. That, look, I do expect him to do a good job at Manchester United because I think he's a good coach. I just hope, as a Liverpool fan, it takes him a while to start to put things right there because he is a good coach. He is. There's no denying that. It's the most worried I've been since they've brought in the new coach in Sir Alex Ferguson. Gone AWOL said, if we win the league, we need an Anfield Agenda community meetup at the parade. Well, there's a community meetup happening on Friday at the Hot Water Comedy Club. in Liverpool. And you can still get your tickets to come along and see us on the night if you would like to, with the link at the top of the chat right now. So yes, and hopefully many more to come as well. Mansi said, I told my husband today if Salah signs, we'll travel from India to watch Liverpool play. Nice. You won't regret it. You'll enjoy your trip. It's a beautiful city. It's a really good city to get around in as well. If you do pop over, I love going to Liverpool City because everything is reachable. Like it's a well laid out city. So yeah, do make the trip, and I hope you both get to come over. Benedict said, Craig, do you think Liverpool will spend in January? I think we're open to it. I think it's just going to come down to availability of the right player. I think the money will be there if Liverpool can find that right midfielder. And look, at this point, I have no idea if that midfielder is going to come in or not. But I think, let's say we found a target. Let's say right now, Richard Hughes, Arne Slot, Michael Edwards had found somebody who they think is achievable. I think they would go after them in January, yes. But I'm not sure what to expect. I'm almost afraid to get my hopes up, because last summer's window, I'm still very angry about that. Even though we are in a great position and playing really well now, I still feel like, once again, there was a lack of backing there financially for the manager. Swally said, why is there always something rumbling in the background when we're doing well on the pitch? McManaman, Owen leaving, Gerrard leaving, Hicks, Gillette, COVID, Paris debacle, Super League. I know, and it's horrible, isn't it? Because you've got that, like, you're allowing yourself to be happy, and you're celebrating, and you're buzzing about what Liverpool are doing and how well we are, and a new coach has done well. But you're right, mate. There's always this elephant in the corner of the room there looking at you, and you know you're going to have to deal with that at some point, and you can't allow yourself to be, well, at least I can't allow myself to be fully happy, because you've got some anxieties over these problems that you wish would be resolved quickly. Ramsey Neal, thank you, my friend, for a lovely super chat. Said, buzzing, you're here to stay. Can't imagine how far Anfield Agenda connects us international fans together. On to 1 million. Cheers from the Philippines. So, I really don't know, mate, where this channel's numbers will peak at in the future. Like, I don't know what the ceiling is for us with regards to subscribers and community members. But I also didn't think that we would be talking about heading towards 300,000 or 100,000. So I don't want to make projections about 1 million, because I don't know if we'll ever get there. But the fact that we're here is amazing to me. So yeah, look, thank you. I just want us to be the most subscribed to Liverpool fan channel on the internet. That's my goal. And you know, we don't have to get to 1 million to do that, but the day we get one past the people who are currently the most subscribed to, I'll be a proud man. I'm already a proud man, by the way. Sorry, I should have worded that differently. And yeah, look, again, thank you. We've got lots of emails over the last day or two as well from people saying, give Sabrina a kiss for me. I did, by the way, John, if you're watching. And yeah, look, thank you. You know, I shouldn't have put you guys in that position, by the way, where I even spoke about maybe leaving in May. But that was more to do with me not being in the right headspace than anything else. I should be stronger than that in those moments. And remember the backing I do have. So, again, I apologise for that little bit of drama, but sometimes I do need a bit of a slap around the chops and a reminder not to let the feckers win. Ken, how are you, bro? Said, I'm new to this channel. You get my vote. 1 billion is easy. Thank you. That's really kind of you, mate. Appreciate you. So look, if you haven't, by the way, do hit that like button for me and hit the subscribe button as well. Appreciate you being with us. Oh, nice. So, can I bring this on screen? Bear with me 1 second, folks. I want to drag something onto the screen for me, but I don't know how it's going to fit. So, bear with me. Right, I'm going to show you something, which I'm also going to promote something, so bear with me. I want to just show you this. Let me see. One sec. So there we go. That right there is the new logo for the new podcast. Myself and Lee Gunner. We're going to be starting the Red Mist podcast, and we're going to be starting with our first live episode next Monday at 6 p.m. So if you haven't, get over and subscribe to it. Search the Red Mist podcast or search the Red Mist and you'll see it. And we're doing our first episode next Monday at 6 p.m. Myself and Mr. Lee Gunner. And again, we appreciate your support on that one. And one more thing before Connor kills me for forgetting. If you haven't, please do subscribe to the Anfield Agenda Clips channel as well. You'll see in the bottom right hand corner of the screen there is a QR code. Just search Anfield Agenda Clips and hit that subscribe button, because how awesome would it be if we could get a silver play button for our Clips channel in the future? That would be awesome. So thank you again for that one. One dub said, what do you mean far apart? It's not my words, bro. So I don't mean anything by it. And I actually don't know the meaning behind what Florian Plettenberg says by far apart. So I don't have the answer on that one. I hope it isn't on money though, because that would be strange. You know, I always thought that on the negotiation for Mo, it would be more a case of the length of contract that might provide a sticking point than the financials. So, yeah, as I said, I don't know what he means by it, but I hope we get a positive update soon, because we know what everybody wants. We've seen what the cop wants. They've seen the banner. We know Mo wants to stay, so I'm hoping that Mr. Plettenberg is incorrect on that one. Keep up the good work with the streams. Love tuning in. Thank you, Harries. Appreciate you. I'm also recording 2 videos tonight with All Red, who you guys let us know were trying to get in contact with us. So we managed to sort that one out. I'm recording with Sam from All Red tonight at 11 p.m. my time. So I'm not sure when those videos will go up on the All Red channel, but just to show you again, you know, we mean what we say. We're happy to work with anybody. And again, thank you for the invite. Hex said, you can tell Mo loves Liverpool and he's still the best winger in the league. FSG cannot afford to be cheap. So I'm going to bring you back to a post a day or two ago from Lewis Steele, and it was around the whole situation with Salah and the predicament that we find ourselves in. I'm scrolling back up here to find it, sorry. Excuse me. Where is this one? After that. Where is it? There it is. So Lewis Steele posted the other day, and he posted 2 pictures. He posted a photograph of Mookie Betts and he posted a photograph of Mohamed Salah. And he said, the man on the left is Mookie Betts, one of the best baseball stars in the world, who wanted to stay on at the Boston Red Sox, but FSG let him go. He's since won 2 World Series. The man on the right is Mohamed Salah. FSG must learn and pay Mo his dough. It goes on to say, Salah is statistically having his best season in football. That's 67 minutes per goal or assist, better than even 2017-2018 when he had a goal involvement every 71 minutes. He said it's a completely different ball game, and the trading system meant it was easier to shift bets, but FSG didn't want to pay the big bucks and paid the price. He loved the Sox and wanted to stay, but the contract was never sorted. Now, when I spoke with David about this yesterday in the video, David said that it wouldn't be down to FSG on the contract situation for Mohamed Salah. He believes that FSG have empowered Richard Hughes and Michael Edwards and others to make that decision. And whilst I appreciate the sentiment of where David's coming from, to me it's two cheeks of the same arse. I don't really care who signs the cheque, but whoever is making the decision, and FSG do own the club, this needs to not be a repeat of Mookie Betts. This can't be Mohamed Salah walking off into the sunset when he wants to be here, and he's still delivering. So, yeah, I don't know. Look, I know it's difficult, and all sports have different financial parameters and trading systems and stuff that aren't comparable. But ultimately, the sentiment there was star player wanted to stay, didn't, went on, had success elsewhere. Salah wants to stay, star player, still a chance to keep him. Let's hope that's the outcome. Ethan's TikToks, thank you. You didn't put in a comment, mate, but thank you for your super chat. Appreciate you. And yeah, just wanted to bring that up on screen to say thank you, Ethan. What's this one that Mark sent me? So Mark sent me that CIES Football Observatory has done under 21 players in world football who are valued at more than €100 million. And on that list was Lamine Yamal, who's valued at €180.9 million. Probably undervalued, to be fair at that. Alejandro Garnacho of Manchester United is €114.8 million. Warren Zaire-Emery, €109 million. And Savinho of Manchester City, €101 million, according to the CIES Football Observatory and their evaluations. Othniel, creator, how are you, my friend? And thank you so much for your super chat, mate. Really appreciate you. Says, you'll never walk alone from the USA. Hey, Craig, what are your thoughts on Carlos Baleba, Omar Marmoush and Victor Gyökeres? These are my wish list players alongside Kirkes and FSG, trading Darwin and perhaps Robbo. Lot to unpack there, bro. Lots to unpack. Right, let's go through it. Baleba is somebody who we are certainly keeping tabs on. He's only at Brighton about a year, if I remember correctly, and I think he cost them about 23 million from, was it Lille he came in from? I can't really remember. So he's certainly on a list of players that we will be keeping an eye on, but we're not on our own there. And to get him out of Brighton would probably be expensive, unless there's some type of hidden clause like McAllister's. Omar Marmoush, I can say to you without any hesitation, is somebody of real interest to Liverpool Football Club. I just don't know if we have a need to bring in a forward at the minute, because obviously we don't know what the situation is with the 6 forwards we currently have at the club. But he is very, very much a real distinct possibility. Bayern Munich were the other club mentioned around Omar Marmoush. Lots of stuff coming out of Germany that says he wants to move to the Premier League. He'd love to sign for Liverpool. So if we need to go into the forward market, I would be quietly confident that we would be making a play there. On the Victor Gyökeres, I would say that there's a couple of things would go against that. Potentially a stylistic difference to where he played for us, but most importantly, I think that there would be a bit of a rush for a signature, and thus probably a bit of a bidding war around wages and stuff that we tend to not get involved in as a club. And then Kirkes, there was a story that came out the other day to say Liverpool, Chelsea, Manchester United, and I think there was another club, are all battling it out for what they call the £50 million rated Milos Kirkes of Bournemouth. Now, what I would hope, my friend, would give us a bit of an advantage there is the fact, of course, that our sporting director now, Richard Hughes, would have been involved in Kirkes coming into Bournemouth. So there would be certainly a relationship there already with his representatives. And on trading Darwin and perhaps Robbo, if I was in charge and I was looking to trade a forward out, it would be Jota, because of the injury concerns. Over Darwin, I think I would look. Darwin at least gives us that something different through the middle. If you brought in an Omar Marmoush, you've got somebody again who can be fluid and play across the front line. And the Robbo situation, I don't know what happens there. There was an article last week that suggested that there was going to be talks about an extension, but I think it's certainly prudent to look at the left side of the fence as somewhere that maybe we could look to improve in the near future. Whether that's Robbo or Costas, mate, I don't know. I saw old vids of you watching the league and it was so funny. Thank God you didn't quit back. Yeah, I don't really watch the old stuff much. Occasionally I'll sit back and watch the Barcelona clips because that makes me smile. What do I think of Nicholas Coote? I don't know anything about him, mate, to be honest with you. What's my ideal January transfer? A midfielder. I think that's all we need in this January window. You know, barring any other injuries or anything like that. I just think that bit of depth around the deeper lying midfield position. So whether that is Zubamendi or anybody else, that for me would be enough. And then in the summer we can reevaluate again and see what we need to do there. You know, if you look at the forward positions, you've got 6. So you've got Mo, you've got Darwin, you've got Gakpo, you've got Diaz, you've got Jota, and you've got Chiesa. Now, obviously, we haven't seen Chiesa much because he's working up the fitness. Then you've got young Jaden Dan. So there's 7 options there to fill 3 spaces. In the advanced midfield positions, again, you've got your Szoboszlai, your Jones, maybe your McAllister. You've got Harvey Elliott. You've got Trey Leone coming through. So I can see, again, some battles that will give the manager enough to do there. It's the deeper line position. If we don't have Gravenberch, we're probably trying to put square pegs in round holes again. So that's the one for me. If we sign that player in January, whomever that player might be, I'm happy until the summer and then we figure out what we need then. Rusba, thank you, said, it frustrates me that Man United spend a fortune on Anthony and Casemiro, yet we drag our feet when it comes to giving Salah what he wants. Keep him. Well, I mean, I get where you're coming from, but that also speaks as a warning to making sure you don't piss your money up against the wall. You know, that's one thing I think we've been pretty good at, is not making those idiotic signings that just are going to be like a financial noose for us. So, you know, somewhere in the middle is where I'd like to be. You know, what gets to me is our hit rate is normally so good with transfers that it makes you wonder why we aren't pushing on to do that bit more. But I'm a fan. I'm always going to be inherently greedy, am I, wanting transfers. Sam Lewis said, we're 100% going for Zubamendi in January. There's one big important factor, though, at play there, mate. And that is, does he want to come? Because we don't know at this moment in time if there's been any change in his circumstance at all. You know, we know he hasn't signed an extension. We know that they're starting to grind out some better results now at Sociedad. They beat Barca at the weekend and they are inching up the table a bit. But until we know for certain that there's any indication from him, you know, we're not going to go back in again and look foolish bidding for a player that doesn't want to come. It would have to take him, I guess, making contact to say if the offer's still there, he'd be open to it. And look, if he did, yes, I do agree 100% we'd go and try and get it done. Varela from Porto is a name who's come up a little bit, but again, I don't know if this was more when Jurgen was around, by the way, so I don't know what the lay of the land is around Alan Varela with Arne. Same about Tchouaméni. I don't think he would want to go for Tchouaméni, but I can't say for certain. As somebody from Coventry, I agree about Gyökeres not fitting in after his time at Coventry. His style is more similar to Benteke / Carroll. He would do a great job somewhere. Like, the boy scores goals. And, you know, you've got to give Victor Gyökeres incredible credit for building his career up to this point and doing what he's doing. I just feel if we needed a forward, Omar Marmoush is way more of a good fit to what we need. But look, whoever gets Gyökeres is going to get a goal scorer. I'm not denying that. I fear Man City might get Zubamendi. But why would he go there? Is my honest question. Like, let's say he signs for Manchester City in January and a week later the case comes out and there's, I don't know, 40 charges that have been proven against them. And there's massive points deductions and potentially European bans or whatever, or not being put forward by the Premier League for European competition. I just don't understand how anybody in their right mind could advocate for their client, their friend, their family member, or anybody to go to Manchester City right now. It just would be a completely unnecessary risk. You know, come to Liverpool, where one, there's a fan base, and two, a history and a tradition, and three, no fear of any of these shenanigans of 115 charges coming back to bite you in the backside. But look, I would say that, wouldn't I, as a Liverpool fan? And also, I don't think you go and replace Rodri with Zubimendi. Again, stylistically, it's not the right type of signing. You know, Rodri is the best in the world at what he does. An incredible footballer, a deserving winner of the Ballon d'Or. But I just don't think replacing him with Zubimendi is the right fit. And again, what happens when Rodri comes back? You know? Am I going to watch Ireland in the international break? I don't know, is the honest answer, Peter, because I'm going to take Thursday, Friday, and most of Saturday off. So there'll be no content, except for Saturday night. I'll do a stream when we're back from Liverpool. But Thursday and Friday, I'll be sorting out stuff for the show. So there'll be no content out those days. And then Saturday, I'll be back doing content on Saturday night. Other than that, I don't know what the plans are. Mo Salah 11. Talk to you soon, bro. Nice to see you win again. So it's Southampton, Madrid, City, and Everton away. Yes, correct. I think there's another cup game. I think is the League Cup game at Southampton mixed in there on top of the league game. But yes, that's pretty much the run of games there, if you said, David. Nazar said, does it make me a bad person that I hope Trent fails if he does leave us to go to Real? No, it just makes you a person who's got an emotional connection to Trent in that situation, mate. In these situations, we all react differently. You know, sometimes we go from a situation of wanting them to fail to more understanding of it to, you know, we deal with these things in different ways, you know. So I don't think there's any right or wrong answer to is it normal or does it make me a good or bad person? You know, how you feel is how you feel. If you're off on Thursday, you still going to do a David Lynch video? Nope. No. There's no David Lynch video in the books yet for over the international break. Now, we will do one. We did one obviously yesterday, but there's none planned for Thursday, no. So it'll probably be next week. Maybe Monday or Tuesday for the David Lynch next video. Got any thoughts on the Ireland team that you want to share? Not particularly, mate. Not really too invested in international football, to be honest with you. I find that hard to form a connection to Irish football with the way the FAI has been in the last 15, 20 years. I would like the whole thing disbanded and started again, from right down to the way that grassroots football in Ireland is funded, developed. It's just a farce, to be fair. And look, the League of Ireland is starting to do a better job, and stadiums are being revamped, and you know, I hope the league continues to grow. But I'm just finding it hard to put any faith in those who are running football in Ireland. I want Zubimendi. Sorry, excuse me, let me read that again. Ian said, hey Craig, I wouldn't want Zubimendi to Liverpool if he didn't want to come to Liverpool first. Well, yeah, exactly. Like, I would imagine if he's changed his mind and wants to move to the Prem, you'd have to think that the groundwork Liverpool have put in there would stand us in good stead. Same way when we came in last minute to try and get Caicedo, you know, he stayed loyal to the agreement he'd given with Chelsea, so I would think it would be similar. Mark said, so Southampton on the 24th, then Madrid on the 27th, City on December the 1st, Newcastle on the 4th of December, then we've got the Derby, and then it's Girona and Fulham, and then Southampton in the League Cup. So they're the run of fixtures that we have coming up. Will I go to Robbie Williams in Croke Park next year? No. No, mate, I won't. I'm still trying to find a ticket to Oasis in Croke Park. So again, if anybody has a spare ticket or wants me to come along and say hello with them and sing along with them, hit me up, because I'm still trying to get a ticket. Ideally, I'm trying to get two. One for me and my daughter, but yeah. That's the goal for Croke Park for me, is to get a ticket to Oasis. He wanted to say his boyhood club. That's totally different compared to Caicedo, etc. So the only reason I brought Caicedo up was he said if he wanted to leave, I would hope he came to Liverpool. And my point was that Liverpool, like Chelsea had done with Caicedo, had put the groundwork in for the deal, meaning that there was already a relationship built up there between the agents and the club, and that's the point I was trying to make. You know, of course I understand that it's very different for Zubimendi leaving Sociedad to come to the Prem versus, you know, Caicedo going from Brighton to Chelsea or whatever. Paolo Atan said, Craig, I think the future races will be Liverpool against United. Got a feeling Arteta's dark arts will implode. I would love that. I've said that for years. I want Liverpool and United going head to head for titles. Like, they're the title races that English football should want. The two biggest clubs, the two most prestigious clubs. I'd love title races between us and United. It's never really happened properly for a concentrated period of time or anything in my lifetime, or concerted period of time, I should say. James said, "There's nothing more refreshing to me than seeing somebody who loves their job." Thank you. I'm just genuinely astounded this is my job. You know, I'm very fortunate for it to be the case. Till Sheen said 2009 it kind of happened. Yeah, but like, we haven't had like a 3-4 year period where us and United are going head to head like us and City or Arsenal and City for a couple of seasons. It would be great. Because, you know, when United were good, it was more Chelsea and Arsenal that they were competing for titles with. And when we were good, it wasn't really United we were competing for too many titles with either. What's the most shocking relegation in the Premier League? I would say Leeds, back when they were relegated, is probably the biggest downfall. And them, and of course Leicester City then going from winning the Premier League to then going back to the Championship to come back up again. So yeah, they're two off the top of my head that I would say were very surprising to me. Why would you want United to be good again? I said I'd like the title race to be between us and United. I didn't say I want them to win one of them, but I just feel like that's a rivalry I haven't had a chance to see in my lifetime. You know, I've seen Liverpool battling with Manchester City, and when like, if we're to be involved in title races, I wouldn't mind a race being against United. It would be, because like loads of my mates are United fans, so the banter would be absolutely incredible, and the high stakes and the pressure of it would be interesting as well. Pasky said, I've heard from reports 3-year contract extension, same wages but a big signing on fee. For who? If this is around Salah, I certainly hope you're right. I don't think, I mean, I'd be surprised at 3 years, I'll be honest. If it's a guaranteed 3 particularly, you know, I would maybe 2 with an option of a third. But look, again, I hope it is the case and he stays because that's what we all want. But I'd be very surprised on the 3 years, though. I have to say I would. It would be a very clear indication that Liverpool have belief in Salah if he went 3 years, so I wouldn't be against it. Peter, don't worry, mate, about asking about Ireland. I lived through Italia 90, so I'm very fortunate. I got to see the top days of Irish football, and then of course USA 94 as well, Saipan. So like, I've had little moments as an Irish football fan, but just right now it just feels like a bit of a toxic time around the FAI and football here in Ireland. Ever been to a Scandinavian country? Nope. As a rule, mate, I tend to try to go places warmer than the place I'm leaving. So the idea of going to, I'm sure in the summer, you know, parts of Scandinavia are beautiful, but I don't need to leave Ireland in the summer because it's also beautiful. So yeah, to me, if I'm going somewhere, I want to go somewhere warm. Paul said, I hope we do win the title and get to celebrate it properly. Imagine the scenes. Oh, mate, it would be incredible. You know, that is a real crying shame that when we did win the title, whilst I think the Premier League and Liverpool did as good a job of it as they could with the circumstances they did, or they had, yeah, it'd be great to see it done properly. What was your reaction at the time to Leicester City win the Premier League? I was delighted for them. Genuinely, like, who doesn't love an underdog story or a genuine surprise like that? You know, we want sport to be that way. An underdog story is a beautiful thing. So yeah, to see them go from 5,000 to 1 to winning the Premier League, it was brilliant. I should do a poll about who follows their national team during the international breaks. I don't care about international football, so I don't really care if people watch it or not. Each to their own and all that, like, but it's, you know, it's not something I'm interested in too much, mate. Greece winning the Euros, yes, and Denmark winning the Euros when they weren't even originally in the competition, which was another mad one. Like, to see them go and win it when you know, they only came in at the last minute because of, I think, some political issues in another country. Warm or cold glass of milk? Cold. I don't think I've ever, I'm not 90, like, I don't think I've ever drank warm milk. Do I think Ireland will beat England? No. No, I don't, but I do find it ironic that the game in Ireland, Rice and Grealish was fit and available for, and the game in England, they're not. What did I think of the Wolves win against Southampton? I was delighted for Gary O'Neill. Yeah, he's been unfortunate the start of the season they've had, and I like Gary O'Neill. I think he's a proper footballing man, and I was happy for him. Warm milk in your cereal? If it was on like Weetabix or something, yeah, maybe. But again, normally I would be eating not muesli. What's it called again? Granola, and I wouldn't be putting warm milk on that. Look, I'm going to say goodnight, ladies and gentlemen, because I've got to get ready for the video I'm doing on All Red with Sam. So I will see you guys tomorrow. It'll be the last live stream then until Saturday night. So I hope to see you for that one. A reminder again, if you haven't, please do hit that subscribe button and that like button for me before you head off. And of course, don't forget you can get your tickets as well to the show this Friday, and also the Red Mist podcast with me and Lee. Go over and give that a sub if you would be so kind. Right, folks, appreciate you all, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.